Can I ask you something personal? How long have you been paying on your credit card debt? A year, 2 years, five, maybe longer than you'd like to admit? And does it ever feel like no matter how consistent you are, no matter how much you pay, the balance just doesn't really move? Like you're running on a treadmill and going absolutely nowhere. I hear that from people all the time. And every single time, there's this mix of frustration and shame in their voice. Like somehow they're doing something wrong. Like they're failing at something everyone else seems to have figured out. I want to tell you something today that I wish more people heard a lot sooner. The strategy most people are using to pay off debt is built for a completely different financial world, and nobody told you it stopped working. That's what we're going to talk about today. What your debt is really costing you. Not just the balance, but the actual dollars, the actual years, and what that means for your family. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you're going to see your situation very differently. Let's start at the beginning because most of us were handed the same financial playbook. And for a lot of people, it came from a church, a financial class, a book, or just advice passed down from family. The strategy goes something like this: list your debts from smallest to largest, make minimum payments on everything, and then throw every extra dollar you have at the smallest debt until it's gone. Then roll that payment into the next one and keep going until your debt is free. You might recognize that. It's been taught in churches and financial classes and best-selling books for decades. And here's the thing: when that approach became widely taught back in the early 1990s, it actually made sense. Interest rates were manageable, enough that extra payments actually moved the needle. Adding even a little bit extra each month created real momentum. The math was in your favor. Not perfectly, but enough. And that was a very different era. And what worked then is not what's working now. So what changed? Here's the number that changes everything. Credit card interest rates today are nearly 50% higher than they were when that strategy was created. 50% higher. That is not a small difference. That is a completely different financial reality. And what that means in practical terms is this: the same payment on the same debt produces a dramatically different result than it did 30 years ago. The interest is consuming your margin faster than your extra payments can recover it. That $10 or $20 extra you're putting toward a smallest balance every month at today's interest rates, it barely registers. And the interest is eating it almost as fast as you're putting it in. You're not feeling the math has changed and nobody updated the strategy. I want to show you what this actually looks like in real life. And I'm going to keep this as simple as possible because this is not about making your head spin. It's about helping you see the truth clearly. The average client we work with carries about $40,000 in credit card and unsecured debt. That's not unusual. In fact, for a lot of families juggling multiple credit cards, medical bills, and personal loans, $40,000 is actually on the lower end. And now here's what happens at today's average interest rate when you're making regular payments on $40,000. $700 of every monthly payment goes straight to the lender before a single dollar touches your actual balance. $700 every single month, not toward getting free, not toward reducing what you owe, just to keep the current arrangement alive. And it's like trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in it. You keep pouring water, but a significant portion is draining out of the bottom before it even has a chance to accumulate. And here's what that timeline actually looks like at that pace. Paying off $40,000 takes just under 10 years. Total cost nearly $96,000. You borrowed $40,000. You pay back $96,000. That's an extra $56,000 more than you originally borrowed. Wouldn't you want that to go toward your family? It doesn't go towards your kids' education. It doesn't go toward retirement. It doesn't go toward any emergency fund so you stop living one car repair away from crisis. It goes to interest, every single dollar of it. And I want to pause on that math for a second and talk about something that doesn't show up in any spreadsheet. What does 10 years of this actually feel like? It's the stress that follows you into the weekend, the tension it creates in your marriage when money comes up, the way you feel when something unexpected happens, a car, a medical bill, a home repair, and you have no cushion because everything you have is going to minimum payments. It's the quiet exhaustion of working hard, doing the right thing, and still feeling like you can't get ahead. That is a real cost. And it doesn't get added to $96,000, but it should. Now I want to show you the other side of this because this video isn't just about showing you a problem. It's about showing you there is another way. When debt is handled through a proper regulated process, one that actually renegotiates what you owe and replaces it with a structured repayment plan, the numbers look completely different. Most of our clients resolve their debt in about 3 to 3.5 years, rarely longer than 5. For that same $40,000, total out-of-pocket cost through a renegotiated plan typically lands somewhere around $28,000 to $32,000. 3 years instead of 10, $30,000 instead of $96,000. And that gap, those tens of thousands of dollars that would have gone to interest, is money that stays with your family, money that could fund a real emergency cushion. So you stop living in that constant low grade anxiety, money that could go towards retirement, towards your kids, towards generosity, towards breathing room. That is what a different timeline looks like. And it is available to more people than you realize. So, why doesn't everyone know this? Why are so many people still grinding away a strategy that stopped working decades ago? Part of it is that the advice gets passed down without being updated. Your parents taught you what worked for them, their parents taught them what worked for them, and nobody stopped to ask whether the interest rate environment had fundamentally changed. Part of it is that the financial industry benefits from you not knowing. Every month you make a minimum payment at today's interest rates is another month of revenue for the lender. There is no incentive for them to tell you that there's a faster way and a cheaper way out. And part of it is shame. A lot of people carry so much shame around the debt that they don't talk about it. They don't seek help. They just keep doing what they've always done and hope something eventually changes. It doesn't change on its own, but it can change when you have the right information and the right support. So if you want to go in a little deeper on why the common solutions like consolidation loans often makes this worse instead of better, go watch our Ugly Truth About Consolidation Loans video. It's right here in our channel, and it connects you directly to everything we just talked about. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. The strategy most people are using was built for a different interest rate environment. It hasn't kept up. And quietly, month by month, the gap is costing real families real money and real peace. And you deserve to know the actual numbers, not just the balance, the interest, the years, what it's really going to cost you to stay in that path you're on, and what it could look like if you chose a different one. If you've ever wanted clarity on that, our team is happy to sit down with you and run those numbers. No obligation, no pressure, just the truth about where you stand and what your options actually are. The link to book a free consultation is below. And if this video helped you see something differently, please subscribe, share, like, and interact, because there are people in your life carrying the same weight quietly, and they need to hear this too. Remember, freedom starts here. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great one.